Hello there, and how are we doing this week, guys? You're back again with me, Harvey, Mick, and myself, Paul, for another AEW Mash. This is AEW Mash 21 we're hitting up this week. Talking about AEW on the 26th of October and on the 28th of October. Can't remember my dates. It's been a long weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, how the hell are you doing? Are you guys as tired and as done in as me after a Halloween weekend?
Well, I'm absolutely shattered, but it's hot to do with Halloween. It's just been a long week.
You were doing the old IKEA tour the day, weren't you, man? How did that go?
Aye.
I mean, that is pretty much a sporting event, that, going to IKEA.
Yeah, it is a mammoth walk. It's ridiculous, man. It's
I always think there should be a room where you get to do your stretches and that and do your wee warm-up before you take to the stairs and go the tour. Aye, absolutely, man. 100%
the foyer entrance, but
just a bunch of dads doing
as you come in the door, they just wave you out to the side, right? Your dad, aye, right, come on, mate, you need this. But you know, it's
a guy in a yellow, one of the yellow and blue stripy shirts and a pair of shorts. High knees, gentlemen. Right, kick your bums now. Right, now put your arms up and wave as if you're getting the missus over, because you know there'll be stuff in there for the kitchen that's no use. And you're gonna buy it. It's part of the IKEA routine, man, to come in with some sort of mad utensil that you never thought you would need. You partaking any of the meatballs?
I had veggie meatballs.
Oh, of course it would need to be the veggie for you, but still decent though, aye.
Oh, aye. Veggie meatballs, veggie gravy, and some kind of like grain-based ragu. I can't mind some Swedish word that they used. I can't think what it was. Some sort of thing with a lot of dots above the kind of the vowels and all that kind of thing. One of them. Aye.
Something like that. Harvey, how you doing, mate? You the old COVID man.
Aye.
Aye.
I've just been sitting, resting, watching the telly.
Been chilling.
Well,
confined.
Actually, I've been outside just going on walks and shit.
Aye,
I think
keeping the road of society.
Aye, obviously. No mingling with anybody. But aye.
Of course no.
I think
keeping it safe.
Just sitting in the house, aye. The circulation of COVID will not really going to help me much. So
it's a good thing now with the rules changing that you don't need to have to literally confine yourself to your fucking living quarters effectively, like it was back in the day. Like it's not as bad now, at least.
Aye.
Sweet man.
Still crap, but less depressing.
Oh, aye.
More scenery. Can't beat it. Good scenery over there anyway.
I'm not
gonna lie, lads. None but your chickens to talk to. AK Mannion feral chickens. Following you about. I'm no joking, lads. I am one rough, tired son of a gun, man. It was Halloween weekend up with the kids and that. We were out on Friday in Paisley, which was the busiest place in the world. I'm no joking. I didn't know there was that many people in Paisley. So it was like a Halloween fair, man. There was all these big sort of colourful things, but the kids couldn't see any because there was that many. It was honestly like a busy pub on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Everywhere, every street.
Right.
Class though, because you ask the kids, "Do you enjoy something like that?" Yeah, it was amazing. And I'm thinking, that was the shitest night of my life. So fuck it, job done. And then Halloween last night with the kids and all Lisa's family, man. Wearing a Spider-Man morph suit is cool for 20 minutes. Doing it for a night though, I feel like a hot dog. Literally feel like a hot dog, man. But hot dog, we got some wrestling to talk to. Segue.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. What did we think about AEW Dynamite this week, by the way? I remember texting you through the week immediately in the aftermath of it and saying, probably my favourite first hour of Dynamite this year. I feel like that was a wee bit of hyperbole. It was very good, but I'm keen to think what you guys think. It started very quick and kind of kept the pace up for the first hour. How do we feel?
I feel it was good.
Aye.
On the whole Dynamite was good, aye.
Aye.
Better than it was a couple of months ago. You know, when we were just like, scratching our heads, like, what is actually going on here? So it kind of looks like getting back on track now, which is good.
Wee bit more of a kind of cohesive kind of rhythm to it now.
Aye.
Still the odd kind of questionable booking decision and whatnot, but
Well, aye.
like in terms of sort of overall quality, like it's done nothing but get better.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely been a change as far as the backstage stuff goes with Renee involved. And that was something I loved straight away. Like, you had your first match with the BCC and Jericho and Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli was that. The whole point of that match was, let's make this big Swiss person Swiss Hulk Hogan. Like, look at how superhuman Claudio is. That was the whole. That was the objective of the match, and they did it fantastically. And you go at the classic. I mean, I've no seen the Claudio hot tag for bloody ages, man. Like they used to call it the Cesaro hot tag, where he would just mess up everybody in like a burst. Like he would kill about 10 folk in 2 minutes. And obviously he did that to win the match. But the best bit about it was the immediate aftermath, where they go backstage and it's the BCC talking to Renee and Wheeler Yuta getting stuck into Danielson, and then Claudio kind of kicking off at the two of them and saying, we'll talk about this.
Yep. Like adults.
Loved it, man. Yeah.
Like adults.
I like adults. We will talk about this like adults. Aye, I know, man.
So, it was all a wee bit, I don't know if on the nose is the right phrase, but it was all very kind of basic and simple, but it was done well.
Aye, it was,
in terms of the story they were telling and the you know, like the kind of cohesiveness of running for the interview last week, into the wee backstage spot, then into when was it that I'm trying to think now. So the later on they had the bit where it was Mox was getting a doing in the ring, cut to backstage,
and it was the BCC's locker room was
the room
was locked in.
Aye.
Somebody locked it from the outside so that they couldn't go out after the meeting.
So it was all pretty well planned out.
Aye, it definitely was. It was very well done. Like for the weeks kind of leading up and through the Dynamite. They're the two kind of best factions on AEW currently, and I know they've been feuding for a very long time, but it suddenly feels a hell of a lot more fresh than it has done for a while. And it's simple storytelling, just like you say, Mick, that's kind of leading into that, man.
Yeah, I feel like the
difference.
I feel like the Garcia stuff kind of hurts it a wee bit, but it goes to the point where we can see what they're going to do with Yuta and Danielson now.
Aye, well, so that can
it's almost forgivable, but still iffy.
What about the Danielson match, by the way, with Guevara?
It was pretty decent. Enjoyed that.
Fucking hell, man. Aye, fucking A. Guevara more than done his bit. Like, it was Danielson back at his best violent kind of style as well. Like, he booted 7 shades of shit out of Guevara.
I feel like Sammy Guevara is a guy who he very, very rarely elevates a match other than adding in some sort of Daredevil nonsense, you know, like some kind of crazy high-flying thing, jumping off or something really high. But what he always does is rises to the level of the opponent. So if you put him in,
that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
If you put him in with like a world champ level, you know, like a really good legend, whether it's I remember kind of flung in legend at the wrong point in that sentence, but whether it's, you know, Jericho, Moxley, Danielson, one of these guys that's really high level, fantastic worker, Guevara will meet them. You know, as young as he is in the game, like he will meet them and he will have a great match with them.
Aye.
But you're not going to fling him in with somebody that's no quite ready and expect them to bring them up to that level.
Yeah, well, I think that's what you discovered with his kind of TNT title reign, is that he can't rise people, but he is very capable of hanging with. Like that is a great way to put it, Mick. Is that he's somebody who he's as good as whoever he's in there with, basically.
Aye, pretty much. Aye, and that might sound a wee bit backhanded, but I want to clarify in saying that to me that shows the potential in him and the talent.
The sky's the limit.
the ability to lift somebody up. Like what FTR do, like they can have a good match with anybody, but that comes with experience. You know what I mean? That's no something that's built on talent alone. Like you have to learn how to put a good match out of somebody that's no putting
Aye,
it
that obviously takes time and tenure, and I think that's something that's always forgotten with Guevara. Like he takes a hell of a doing online for all the kind of basement dweller kind of lot and all that. Like folk who are quick to judge and say the most ridiculously over the top thing about how, I mean, as you know, social media is a fucking echo chamber for the worst of opinions anyway, but it's very, very critical in Sammy Guevara. And I think it's something you've got to remember that this boy is still just in his mid to late 20s. Like he's still a very young guy, despite the fact that he's obviously been on telly a hell of a lot since AEW started. Like he's probably the most heavily featured of the kind of young four pillars as far as volume of matches goes. Like on the main TV show, like obviously I think Jungle Boy, Jack Perry has more AEW matches than him, but I mean, I'm taking a guess here, but I would wager that Sammy Guevara has had more matches on Dynamite than either of them. All of them, like the MJF, Darby Allin.
I'd put money on that. Aye.
He's trusted. He's trusted. Like,
yeah. I think it helps that. Well, I can't say this with certainty, but I'm assuming, based on what I do know, that Jericho's pretty keen on him, and he's sort of selected him when they've started what were they cried? Crap.
Inner Circle originally, yeah.
Inner Circle. That's it. I totally went in my mind there. All I could think was they were kind of like a biker gang. What was their name?
They were kind of like a biker gang, but none of them were on bikes. There was like a bunch of Sons of Anarchy fanboys, wasn't it, man? Like, we really like Sons of Anarchy.
So
look at all your leather.
I think him, Jericho been keen on him, and Cody been keen on him.
Aye, Cody loved him.
That's kind of, that's allowed him to keep involved in a lot of sort of top storylines and stuff over the last couple of years. But again, to his credit, no try to call nepotism here. Like he's proved his worth time and time again by rising to the occasion in the big
I would say
matches.
so, mate. Aye, when he's in there with the best, he is on their level quite comfortably.
Yeah.
It's something that needs to be remembered is that he's a relatively young guy. That's I mean, you know, I remember my 20s, man. I wasn't fully an adult or fully a fucking guy like in my 20s, like mid 20s especially. Christ, there's still a lot of learning and growing that you need as a guy. Then there really is. Interestingly, do you see the tweet by Cody Rhodes at the weekend? There, just at the start of the weekend. I think I sent you guys it. He was replying to somebody on Twitter, and it was.
Did I?
It was today with all this. Cody left because of the money and not getting on with the elite and all that. And he came out and literally clarified that clearer than I think he's ever said it. I didn't leave because the Bucks, Kenny. I'm forever bonded to those men over what we created, and I remain very proud of it. I didn't leave because I have any issues with Punk. We got along. No money, not booking. And I can't see the rest of the tweet, obviously, my screenshot, but I think it was literally just because he wanted to be a WWE World Champion.
Something his dad did the day. Wanted to chase the big one or something.
That was literally the sentence. Wanted to chase the big one, and then obviously the Bucks then replied to that tweet, sharing the picture. That's not the United Centre. It's the other one that they always go to in Chicago, where they did the first ever All In at. They shared the picture of them on the ramp, the four of them together. Thought that was quite sweet. They shouldn't need to do that, but of course, it's good to see that. Good professionalism and that love, man.
Actually, right. Own the Bucks, own the elite.
Yes.
How good was that wee vignette thing? Done in the style of the Thanos snap.
Aye, the finger snap, aye.
Aye, where they're all. It's all the different wee clips of them and they're fading away to dust.
Just fading out.
Tremendous.
It's kind of split people in whether it was loved or whether it was hated. But I've got to say, Mac, I fall on your kind of side with that. I very much was excited by it. At least it means they're coming back soon. That's it. They're not telling you that story because they're getting released.
It's a cool wee way to say, like, hang on tight kind of thing, like we'll be back soon.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like it's so fitting in the type of sort of humour that they have. You know what I mean? Like that is their style.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it totally is, aye. In jokes in kind of reference inside baseball, as it were. Aye, it's right up there kind of street.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, good. I was glad to see that. That definitely made me very happy, I've got to say, because
Me too.
I've always been a fan of the Elite, heel or face. All three of the Elite that's currently there. Omega, the Bucks, fantastic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting though that the Kingdom have been signed as well now to All Elite Wrestling.
Aye,
do you know who used to be in the Kingdom?
Tell me.
Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, I actually seen something about that the other day.
Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Adam Cole.
Aye.
That was who he was with before he went. He double crossed them to go to the Bullet Club.
That doesn't sound like Adam Cole at all.
That was a shite Adam Cole impression. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
Oh no, I was just digging out my own impression there.
I don't know.
Not sure about them.
I think it's because I've seen them elsewhere, and it's the same gimmick. You know what I mean? It's they've no really changed anything to fit in to AEW. They are who they are, which is good in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, like they would get slated if they went to WWE and come out with different names and whatever else. So that is good, but then at the same time, I'm just kind of looking at them like they're sticking out like a sore thumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're no AEW wrestlers to me yet. So, which is a bit, you know what I mean? That's not a great attitude to have, but you know what I mean? I'm just being honest here. Like that's how I kind of feel when I see them.
That's how you've kind of seen them kind of come in. I mean, it's no filled me with great sort of like, oh yes, I really wanted to see the Kingdom. Like, can't wait to see Maria Kanellis. Like,
they're a solid heel group. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to fill out your sort of tag team division again, if you know what I mean, if you want another faction that you can rely on for storytelling purposes, you know what I mean, you need somebody to come in and work a short term feud. Like, you can 100% rely on them. They're all
you can count
really
on them as kind of dependable, good wrestlers. Certainly. And
Kanellis is like she's a good get in terms of the women. Like is she winning awards for being the greatest, you know, female wrestler ever? No, but
no.
Like, is she decent on the mic? Aye. Is she decent in the ring? Aye. You know what I mean? Is she reliable to fling into a TV match? Aye. So,
I can't imagine she's bumping too much though. I think she's there just as a mouthpiece for the guys though.
Very much so, I would imagine. But I don't know. I've got mixed feelings with it.
They currently have 2 ex-Kingdom members on the roster, as well as the current 3-person stable that is the Kingdom. Obviously, funnily enough, the Kingdom was founded by Matt Hardy and Adam Cole.
I didn't.
Would you believe that? Final Battle 2013, a long time ago, which is interesting because when you consider the Kingdom are kind of in and they're just chucked into a feed them to Wardlow kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is actually grounds there to kind of change it up and kind of redo a faction kind of rebirth if you wanted to, depending on Matt Hardy's situation with his brother not coming back yet. Matt Hardy's obviously just been kind of sitting doing nothing as well, as it were. So there is a potential kind of faction build there if you wanted to. I don't know if Matt Hardy particularly fits with Adam Cole, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven though.
I think for me I'm probably I wouldn't be the right person to ask for an opinion on this, as I explained how I'm kind of feeling about them now. But I think they would probably be a pretty good fit on a newly relaunched Ring of Honor. I can see them being a top tag team, top faction, and a revamped Ring of Honor. That could probably work very well. You know what I mean? Because having teams like that around is going to sit very well with the sort of the old school fans that are not quite sure with the new owner and probably a slightly new look and
Is it?
Yada
is
yada.
it still
You
Ring
know
of
what I mean? So
Honor, etc., etc.?
having solid teams for days of yesteryear is probably a good thing.
It's not the best. It's not the best. Not the worst of the ideas. Don't know what I was. I have no idea what I was trying to say there, and just. But it's not the worst of the ideas, Mick. You're bang on there. Like it is a Ring of Honor kind of staple. So it is the Kingdom, and obviously Taven as well. Especially Taven. Taven's been a Ring of Honor from the very beginning.
He's one of the what's the phrase? He held all the belts, right?
Oh, he's a Grand Slam champion. He won the Ring of Honor World title in the Madison Square Garden triple threat with Marty Scurll and who else was it? I'm sure it was a ladder match triple threat. I can't think who the third person was, but it was Scurll. And I remember everybody thought it was going to be Scurll that won, and obviously then it was Taven. And it was like a pure like the crowd were like, eh. Like that was literally the reaction, like everybody going, no. Like it wasn't a greatly popular decision at the time, but still a very good wrestler in his own right, like Matt Taven. Tag match: Swerve in Our Glory versus FTR. FTR coming out like your favourite all brawls that you've not seen in God knows how long, man. Good match. Finish. Sensible finish. Really. Considering we're looking the way the story's going with Swerve in Our Glory and the Acclaimed, this kind of was the only finish they had to do, really, wasn't it?
I guess so.
Try to let Harvey go first here, but he said take a drink of water.
Sorry.
I saw the horn coming out of the mouth. My mind's blown off.
No. Me taking a drink of water. Sorry. I'm alright with the finish. Like, in the way it's gone, like, but I did think it was funny when they were sitting in the front row, well, kind of on the cage.
Oh, the gun club,
with
the shy mullet and the shy bald cap.
Like, I don't know who you're trying to fool, but nobody here. Why?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Them incognito disguises.
I thought it was a good match as well, which I always find with FTR
I thought it was great. They can work with anybody. That is just as Mick was saying.
I fair enjoyed it. I thought that it was one of the best matches that Swerve and Our Glories had. I thought,
definitely.
I thought they did really well.
Again, it's as you're explaining.
The thing with the finish, right? As much as in terms of the bigger picture, it made a lot of sense for Swerve and Our Glory to go over and then move on to this kind of culmination of their program with the Acclaimed. Just because it's FTR, I was like rooting for them and fully expecting them to win. So the finish did surprise me.
Aye. The bollock kick and all that. So it was like a kind of chain reaction of things. It wasn't just that they get screwed. It had to be they were like screwed in multiple ways. Like
yep.
Dax is being held back by the guns, and Cash gets bollock kicked before he gets hit with the Big Bang Catastrophe as well.
It was like an onion, man.
It was some good stuff, man. A bit of layers to it. Yes, a wrestling onion. It was awesome, man. I love some of the spots in it, man. It's all. It must have been quite a fucking shunt getting Keith Lee in there to hit a big rig on him as well, man. That is a big boy to hit a big rig on. Fucking hell. I love Keith Lee.
How's about the double jump over? Big man doing the splits to get him over.
Insane, man. I kind of lost his footing as he landed though, because there was a wee second where I was like, what? Steady. But of course, being that he is the biggest, most agile grizzly bear in the world, he recovered super quick and was down for them to run over. Like, what a guy, man. Go to love him. It's amazing how good he does the kind of being the babyface in peril, even in a team that is effectively heel. Like he bumps and sells for the other team, even though he's twice the size of whoever he's in there for. Like it's always done cleverly as well. Like it's not just that he's bumping for weird guys; it's that they're evading his big sort of bruisery style and getting out the road and kind of catching him on the fly and all that. And like I always love the work that Keith Lee does, man. He's going to be up there. One of my favourites, man. Swerve again, just cementing that dickhead heel perfectly. He's going to be getting one of the best heel reactions in the whole company as well.
Aye, he's got monster heat on him, man. The
Rampage is, I think, what you're going to ask.
What did you think his wee vignette thing?
On Rampage, aye. We daddy ass.
Aye.
Was one of them, it was going on many players.
Getting a wee bit questionable.
So are we going to assume that Daddy Ass is turning up with 8 fingers to scissor when it comes to his birthday celebration?
He's got to be either missing a finger or missing some fingernails or something.
It's the logical step of the story, and it's the really obvious one, but it doesn't make it the wrong one. Like Swerve's still kind of harping on about you won because you interjected yourself into the match, and this is them now taking out the X factor with which the Acclaim won before, so that they can now go and get their clean win and win the series 2-1 effectively. And it'll culminate with Swerve going too far in the cheating side, which fucks them over, and then the breakup of Swerve and Our Glory. I, for one, will really miss them as a tag team, though. Even though the point of them is to get to making Swerve one of the top heels and making Keith Lee back into one of the top faces. Mission accomplished.
Well, mission accomplished, but I still love the tag team, though. I guess because I wasn't expecting it. Like, I didn't know, that they would work so well. Like, but
I wonder if they were a surprise to the company, to Tony
just
Khan,
how well it went.
They seem to be like an accidental marvel. They just kind of get flung together haphazardly, and like within a couple of weeks, they were getting some of the best reactions in the company for a face team.
They were phenomenal.
They were awesome, and their chemistry together was very good. And then in a really small time frame, they went for just getting started to Swerve was starting to show some heelishness, and it was almost as if they realised that, hold on a wee minute, we can't turn them just yet. We're onto something here with this team. So it ended up snowballing into this big story with the Acclaimed. But I don't think this was long term booking. I think this was somewhat accidental.
They've kind of fell into it and just ran with it, which is good. It's good kind of adaptability to do that. Like, why not? When it's falling in your lap and it is getting over so well, then you've got to go with it. Like, you've definitely got to go with it. It's funny with AEW in that sense that, and the whole history of the company, and I mean, you're now talking 3 years, 3 of the tag team championship winning teams have been teams that have been put together inside AEW, like Hangman and Kenny Omega put together just through the kind of long-term story of the Elite. Frankenstein team, effectively. They Acclaimed themselves. I mean, they were 2 independent boys. Both ex kind of performance center tryout kind of boys as well at WWE. I mean, you can't imagine a world without the Acclaimed in AEW, and obviously Swerve and Our Glory, absolutely definite success. I mean, probably one of your favourite moments ever in the last kind of 12 months RVI.
Aye.
I mean, you lost your mind when they won, didn't you?
I did, when they won, it was brilliant.
It was a phenomenal match as well. Obviously, that triple threat where they beat the Bucks.
It was chef's kiss.
It was fucking fantastic. It really was fantastic, man. Excellent. What about Rampage this week anyway? Wardlow's match with Matt Taven. I mean, obviously we've talked about the Kingdom already. What did you make of it? It really was a bit of a kind of slow finish to Rampage.
It was a cluster fake if I've ever seen one. No,
it was a really poor Rampage this week.
A I like that they're finally doing something with Wardlow. That's good. But it was all a bit like, why was there so many different folk and teams,
factions,
and everything involved? Like, they seem to really overcomplicate things, man. I've got more questions than answers, which sometimes is a good thing, but in this sort of situation, I don't think it is. I feel like I should be able to really simply follow what's happening, and I'm not quite sure.
So is Powerhouse Hobbs a part of the embassy now?
Is he joined the embassy? Did they hire them? Did they hire him? Did they both just happen to turn up at the same time? Like
Brian Cage and him are doing the Paul Rudd thing. Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. And they're into one of their Rodney titles. 100%.
I don't know, man.
It was a bit random, wasn't it? Like,
I just don't know. I mean, I've got a very strong sort of suspicion that we're going to get Wardlow versus random team number 120, which is going to be Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. That is a tag match that's going to happen, even though Cage is part of a bloody...
literally has his own faction.
Aye. Just
which we don't know if Powerhouse is part of or not.
No.
We're not really sure. Aye, it's it's a shame because I felt like Powerhouse was ready to kind of go, but aye, this is again the problem with so many belts. There just isn't enough time. Obviously, Orange Cassidy again appeared out of nowhere to make himself another triple threat match as well. Which I take it is new Orange Cassidy's gimmick is that he just appears out of the floor, like just zooms up. Like the way my hand is doing in the webcam that nobody can see, just hiya, let's have a match. And then he disappears again. Obviously that's been said for this Dynamite coming. Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus and Rey Fenix.
Aye.
On the one hand, it's like they're trying to... I can see them trying to elevate the status of that belt.
Aye, so they're just putting folk in there that are fun.
Why else would you put the belt on Orange if he's not going to have fun matches and lots of folk are going to tune in for it because they love him? Makes sense. The belt starts to mean something, kinda, and then you put it into somebody that's like a rising star or whatever else. Cool. But at the same time, at some point, they need to switch things up and do a bit of a slow build into something. They needs to work a program. It can't just be week after week. Like, I mean, it's like it's his kind of sloth style version of
the TNT Championship
challenge, rather than having an open challenge where he has to go to the effort, he go into the ring and getting a mic and calling out whoever's in the back for his open challenge, who's going to take him on this. And instead he just like saunters into the middle of whatever arguments happen and just like, what match? All right then.
Let's have a match. Although this one for me raises a bit of a problem. Who's losing here?
Well, that's the thing.
It surely can't be Luchasaurus because he's just won against Jungle Boy Jack Perry. It can't be Rey Fenix because he's a fucking trios champion, and all that man has done since he became a trios champ is lose. And can it really be Orange Cassidy? Because he's the bloody champ, and this is his second defence. So you're telling me they gave him a championship just to take it off him 3 weeks later after two defences?
I will very confidently refer you to last week's match. They had Preston Vance primed and ready for a push. And guess who takes the pinfall?
Preston Vance.
So what's that tell you about Luchasaurus?
Yeah. I mean, surely you're not pinning Luchasaurus.
It'll be nonsense. It'll be a nonsense pin, just like the Preston Vance one was.
I'm calling it now. Unfair in Rey Fenix, but it'll be Rey Fenix.
Aye.
Of course.
Be Luchasaurus doing the damage and then Cassidy does something. And then ripping them. I don't know. I mean...
I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know what the question is either.
Aye.
Fuck knows what the question is. What about the women's match, by the way, in Dynamite? I'm not going to lie, I quite enjoy Jamie Hayter and Rio as a match. The kind of David versus Goliath kind of thing.
I liked it, man.
I
thoroughly enjoyed it.
There was moments that I enjoyed, but overall, I just couldn't get past the fact that it's just such a mismatch. And I don't think Rio was at her best. She had a couple of moments in there, a couple of spots where, like, her character work is great, right? She's a fantastic.
She is great with her facial, facial expressions are awesome, man.
So she gets me there, but then she does something, and there was a good few times in that match where I felt like Hayter was carrying her, sometimes literally.
Not a heavyweight, like it's just a total asses, Rio, man.
Maybe it's lack of activity or something. I don't know, but she just didn't seem to be at her best. But then, even if she was at her best, I just feel like that's such a mismatch, and I really struggle with it. I don't see. The thing is, right? I feel like it's a great comparison to like Rey Mysterio versus anybody in the WWE roster, pretty much, right?
I think If you could have said that Rio has no chance, then Ray has never had any chance in any wrestling match. Like, there's going to be a suspension of belief there, obviously, and an appreciation for work rate and the ability to bump more times than a fucking bouncy ball, which is what she does in her matches.
There's a big but, right? Rey Mysterio is fast and explosive, and a lot of his, to be fair, a lot of times when he does a move and it's very impactful, it's a lot of that's down to the selling of the opponent. But point remains, when it's real, she never seems to run fast. I don't know what it is, but she never seems to move fast. When she hits the ropes, nothing happens.
It's very gentle.
Ropes don't move. She bends round about the ropes. Ropes don't move.
It's very gentle.
There's just something missing there for me. I just can't buy it.
I can see where you're kind of coming for, like.
I don't mean to be hard on her, but
aye.
It sucks because
decent though.
Hayter is like so. Even though she's a heel, she's way over.
Oh, she's crazy over.
They could, in heartbeat, they could make her face and put the title on her, and nobody would care. Well, no, they would care, but like in a good way.
Oh, they would, because they should have done it.
Nobody would question it. Is what I mean to say. And Rio, like, for reasons, probably mainly the character stuff and the fact that she's just a great personality. She's got a great look about her. She is way over as a face, and like that kind of underdog baby face.
Aye.
So the two of them in a match together, though, is problematic.
It's hard to choose. It's hard to choose when you've got folk who are both kind of liked. By the way, one thing I will say about the match, the one point in the match that I was like, fucking hell, that's impressive. The spot where Jamie tries to do a backdrop with her and Rio bounces up and turns it into a code red.
And Jamie
explodes backwards to take a brilliant Canadian Destroyer back bump. You hear it in the crowd like, oh, like it shoots folk awake. Like, can you remember it, Mick?
I remember it very well.
I loved it, man. That for me, I wanted to put that out there. I had to say it before I fucking forgot it, man. But I know what you mean. It's she is off a kind of soft with the kind of bouncing in the ropes, and obviously that's down to the fact that she's fucking tiny. She's a very small person. It's one of the things I wished when AEW started, they weren't going to do was cool down, like, if somebody was over. And there's definitely been an element of that with Jamie Hayter. Like, the crowd clearly wanted this story of her finally rising up and kind of being sick of her pal can always want to take the spotlight off you.
Aye.
Yep.
And taking it for herself. And they chickened out that, obviously, because there's obviously the plan with Saraya and Britt is their kind of marquee match that they must be leading towards for the pay-per-view. And fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
It'll be remain to be seen if what they're going to give us instead is better, or whether that's then when she turns on Britt to side with Saraya. Obviously, because as you've mentioned before, Mick, there's the kind of personal history where they two girls are friends with one another. They're obviously both from England, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter up next. So it is, by the looks of it, obviously that was post-match in the women's match.
That's right.
I was going to say, was it confirmed that there's, though, that's, obviously it looks like it because,
don't know, but
obviously Jamie Hayter's...
It was all the...
Sorry.
Giving it the point and all that kind of thing.
And saying all the
I'm coming for that.
Aye. But I don't remember seeing it like confirmed.
See that?
So they're just working to it then.
I had forgot all about that, man. Tony Storm come out.
Aye. Mm-hmm. Tony Storm came out post-match.
Held the belt up. See, that screams to me that they're taking a backward step and they're going back to Hayter's going for the belt and Britt Baker's going to do something that's going to cause Hayter to... They're continuing
justify that as... Aye, they're going to justify as that she's made an asset again for her friend, and then the split happens in full gear.
Because it's either that, which I mean, I suppose that might work longer term. If they decide to do it,
they might get away with that.
Aye, maybe. But
why? I mean, you could get away with it because
surely can't have Hayter lose clean. Surely no.
Aye, because she's like you say, Max. She's over as fuck, and she is awesome.
Aye.
She definitely is. What about, I mean, we've got one thing we really need to talk about, obviously, being MJF just in a minute, but what about just for 2 minutes, the random bloody Eddie Kingston thing?
Aye.
Aye.
Eddie.
Him kind of holding on to his temper by the skin of his teeth kind of thing.
You see, I'm happy. Look, I'm smiling. I'm smiling. Look, there's nothing wrong with me.
Really kind of playing into the kind of the shoot kind of backstage issue and all that.
Mm-hmm. I honestly thought that was one of the best ever backstage interviews in AEW. Honestly,
it had the kind of mad energy of what is he honestly going to say next. I have no idea.
Like I can't wait to see if he pops up next week
and freaks out at something.
Does it turn up and beat the crap out of somebody? Do they do another wee interview? Like I want to get like Eddie's hot take in like a dark match or something, all the while he's like trying to hold in this pent up rage.
Yeah, man. Right, MJF. We haven't actually spoke about it yet properly at length. The MJF interview and the subsequent finish of Dynamite after the John Moxley versus Pentagon match. By the way, John Moxley and Pentagon, brilliant telly match. Loved it.
Aye, I mean, I think I was saying to somebody, like obviously I get the point after, but I mean, what was the point? Because you know that MJF and Moxley's fighting for the championship and thing day, so you know who the winner is. Like straight away, you know what I mean?
Aye, I get what you're saying. Like it's a needless match on a Dynamite, but
then at the aftermath, you kind of like, okay, or two of them are beaten, you know, or two of them are going to be injured. Well, not injured, but less than 100% or whatever. So I kind of get that part, like for the story. But
I remember speaking about this last week, and I said The Rock at Survivor Series 1999, I think is what it is, or 98. I think it's 99. Well, The Rock is just about set to turn face, and then he screws everybody, and he's the corporate champ. That's MJF. I'm now completely convinced that is MJF here. How it's his line with the what's his line about the devil? What's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? It's to make you believe he doesn't exist. And that is what he's that determined to be champion that he will literally pay somebody to kick the shit out of him. It is that much an obsession that it now doesn't matter about his own safety. It's fine. So telling Stokely to send his boys down to batter him is all right. Hence why he's taken I mean, the pump kick he took for Ethan Page, fucking hell, I genuinely thought he had him. Like, I thought he cracked him for real. And then the giant choke slam from W. Morrissey as well. Yeah, brilliant ending to Dynamite. What about the actual promo though? By the way, with Renee, through the table, mate, and through the Japanese table that AEW through the forbidden door. He broke the Japanese table that never breaks for anybody. The amount of times that they've attempted to put somebody through that and it just holds firm. But nah, MJF, it fucking exploded. Morrissey drilled his ass. But what the promo with Renee Paquette, what do we think about it?
Positive.
So this was a very overly baby-faced sort of playing the crowd. No, quite like I remember. I kind of post All Out. There was like the almost sickly sort of baby-face promo, and then he went back to just his usual self very quickly. This was actually like a genuine babyface kind of promo this time. I felt. I don't know. It kind of caught me off guard after last week. Genuine as a good word.
Because he maintained a lot of his kind of posh upper class cheekiness.
He kind of kept his kind of wit in there, his wee digs and all that. But then obviously apologising kind of backhandedly and all that as well. Like,
I thought it was for a minute. I couldn't remember what you were talking about. I was like, Rennie's back. So I was like, oh, talk about MJF. So I did like it. And then when he's talking about, he's on that day, I can't remember what day it is, but anyway, I'm not fighting Regal or Moxley or whoever. Like, I'm fighting every scumbag who said I wasn't good enough. And then he was like, I'm going to take the chip and shove it down the throats and become AEW champion. Like, I liked it, man. I did like it.
It's interesting. Here's a question. In fact, you go first, and then I'll ask my question, Mick. When you go,
I was just going to say, I hadn't even considered that they could go the route of it was all the work. With, the firm doing them in.
Firm?
Aye.
Right. So you didn't get that when you were watching it at the time?
I didn't think we were getting like full blown face turn, but I thought this confirmed that was the direction they were going, shorter term.
See, there are two theories though, Mick. There are certainly two theories at play here. There is the one that you think, which, I mean, Brian Alvarez at WrestlingObserver.com has been talking about it all week, is why not take the chance on making him a face and seeing how it goes?
I feel like that's where we're at. That's what I did. No, because I hadn't even crossed my mind, so now I'm wondering, but like
that's what I keep coming back to is his line, the CM Punk line that he used. What's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? It still ties into how he started his original feud with CM Punk and what he says that he is, just like what CM Punk was.
See,
that he's the devil.
The problem I've got, the main problem I've got with it is that my thought in how this played out was that's a shame because with the firm. Because as much as it was a wee bit clunky how it was formed, it seems like something really interesting. And to go to this sort of turning their back on Max because he's no who they thought he was or whatever, it felt like that was rushed. But then if they go to it was all the work and then it goes back to how it was, then it's going to feel a bit, I don't know, it's going to cheapen it for me somehow.
It's interesting. Like some folk will love it because it's kind of harkening back on The Rock, and that is who I swear he's young Rock to me. Like folk say young Roddy Piper, I say young Rock, man. Honestly,
Oh, that reminds me of a thing about Mox. Remind me to talk about Mox and Jim Ross.
All right, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. It's definitely got potential to be either very epic or very disappointing, but still kind of something you can appreciate why they've done what they've done. William Regal this week as well, by the way, obviously after last week's kind of promo battle, has worked his balls off in putting all the kind of detail in behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gentleman Villain podcast this week, MJF was the topic.
Right.
AEW Unrestricted podcast, who was on it? William Regal.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about MJF. Like, go to love the detail they're putting in. It's some of the best minds in this storyline, certainly. So, fingers crossed, whatever they're doing is awesome.
Mm-hmm. On that kind of subject, we tidbit. Supposedly, for the last few months, Chris Jericho has been very heavily involved with helping Tony Khan with booking and writing.
And I wonder if that's why things have simplified all of a sudden.
Possibly.
Because certainly since All Out, the storytelling has been a lot more simple. Like there has definitely been a change from post All Out to now. And pre All Out, like where there was a lot of shit going on every week. Like it was so loud with storylines and insider stuff, and it's definitely been drawn back a bit more in the kind of last 6 or 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you wonder if that's to do with it. Probably not the worst of things, by the way. I think Chris Jericho, you just let him do whatever he wants in AEW. I think he's been a brilliant hire. Like from day one, he's made it his mission to make this work.
Yeah. There needs to be somebody there to keep him honest, because he could disappear up his own arse at times. He loves to go deep into characters to his own detriment at times, but he is very creative, and he knows a lot about that business, man.
Oh, he's a genius. He's got to be a great voice and a great person to kind of lean on backstage, isn't he, man?
Yeah.
What was the JR thing about Moxley? Quickly before we go, because I'm curious. We're running out of time here, as always.
Oh, please allow me to just very discreetly clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat. No. Go for it. Oh, no. Go my game.
Okay. Right. This cough is kicking my ass, man.
It's kicking the shit out of you, man. It's doing a number on you, mate.
So, watching Dynamite this week, right? I've thought this before watching Mox, that there was sort of wee things here and there that were sort of similarities to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But usually it's just the wee odd thing, right? The wee mannerism or a move or whatever, just a wee thing. But watching Dynamite this week, it occurred to me that Mox has, over the last few months, transformed into like I don't want to say AEW's version of Stone Cold, but like almost like the next iteration of Stone Cold. He's a bit in evolution. Now, I'm not saying that he is or will be as good or as successful or blah de blah in comparison to Stone Cold. But just in terms of that style, like he is AEW's Stone Cold at this point. He's this generation's Stone Cold. You know what I mean? He's a different take on it, certainly. So that I thought that watching Dynamite this week, it occurred to me. And I wanted to kind of get your take on it. But it was here yesterday or the day before. I saw a tweet for JR. No, in fact, no, it wasn't a tweet. It was an excerpt. It was a tweet, but the tweet was quoting an excerpt for an interview. So apparently, JR had a very similar thought watching Dynamite this week.
Right.
And he tweeted something out. I don't have it to hand because I forgot about it until just a few minutes ago. But he tweeted out something along the lines of like Mox was reminding him he's Stone Cold this week or whatever else. blah de blah. I don't know how he phrased it exactly, but basically he was getting a compliment saying that Mox was like Stone Cold. That's all he meant with it. But then apparently he got a lot of hate. A lot of people digging in.
For saying that. Oh,
digging him out for
tribalism,
basically
the usual shit,
like Stone Cold, basically going on like, Stone Cold's the one true God. How dare you say that Mox is anything like him, kind of thing.
Aye, standard.
And then so basically then JR went on in this interview that he'd done. I believe it was on a podcast, but I'm not 100% sure.
Probably be his Grill and JR podcast, I bet you. Aye.
I don't think it was. I mean, it could have been, but I don't think it was. I think he was guesting on something.
All right, okay.
So he went on to explain like what he actually meant, and all he meant was like he meant it as a compliment, and he just meant that there was a lot of similarities in Mox and his style and in his game that remind him of Stone Cold, and he was saying that Stone Cold's his all-time favourite pro wrestler, and that he purely meant it as a compliment and one of the highest compliments he could pay because of how he feels about Stone Cold. But folk just totally took it the wrong way.
Just the standard. And by the way, for my money, JR is not wrong. The difference between Moxley and Stone Cold is that Stone Cold was a walking catchphrase fucking machine. Like he was really good at saying something that was instantly quotable. Obviously, Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass. Give me a hell yeah." What? Like, I drink a beer, I drink another beer. I think as Moxley's been on over the past certainly since he became free of WWE, and WWE at the time, as Dean Ambrose, there wasn't room for a wrestler to be creative and to try kind of make himself in that kind of mould. But since he's came to AEW, you can clearly see that Jonathan Good, John Moxley, is also a very big Stone Cold fan, and without sort of cosplaying him, I wouldn't say he's cosplaying him. There is definitely a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin and how the character John Moxley is. Like, he's kind of trying to go down that road of kind of saying things that are instantly quotable. He's not quite on Stone Cold's level of it, but he certainly captures a hell of a lot of the energy. Like the kind of, just the fucking rugged energy that Stone Cold has. His kind of brawling style as well is 100% Stone Cold Steve Austin before the neck injury. Like, he can brawl, but he can he also wrestle. Like, obviously Stone Cold changed after his neck injury, and it was solely brawling and a stunner is all you got to him. But I can appreciate that. It's a very good comparison for me.
So basically, JR literally, all he tweeted was John Moxley, Austin-esque.
And he's right.
And
he's right.
So he was, responding to criticism about it and stuff like. He's saying like, it's like, sorry. He's like, I thought it was a compliment to Moxley, and it was a compliment I meant. His game reminds me of Austin at times. Am I saying that he's going to be better or greater than Austin? I don't know that anybody will ever be as great as Stone Cold when he was at his peak. He's still my favourite guy. I just thought there was pieces of Mox's game surrounding his aggression and tenacity that reminds me of Steve.
Didn't even read what JR said. Yeah, dancing. We've came to the same sort of thought process. I would say, one thing I would say is, if I was to say a sentence about it, John Moxley is one good catchphrase away from exploding the way Steve Austin did. That's all he's missing, is that one epic sentence that you can just associate John Moxley with. Like Austin 316.
It's funny.
Immortalised him.
It's funny to me that that's where your mind's went and that's your perspective on it. Because to me, in my realisation of this, watching Dynamite before coming across the JR thing, it was all about moveset and sort of mannerisms, physicality, the way he approaches the match, the way he comes through the crowd, the way he stomps about awkwardly. Like, it reminds me of the old school matches. I mean, mostly post injury, but the old school matches where Austin would roll out crowd going crazy like for the entrance music. He rolls out, beats the shit out of somebody, and then strolls off again.
Then does his
Disappears.
away he goes.
Aye. It's that sort of thing. It's nothing to do with like promo side, catchphrase,
Aye.
marketability. None of that. Like it's all about the attitude and the approach, and the brutality and all that side of things.
Oh, and on that side, they are very, very similar, Mick. All I'm kind of putting to it is maybe more towards what JR's saying is, could he be as good as Stone Cold in the eyes of wrestling fans 10 years from now? And I think yes, if there's that 1 week, it's just that 1 wee tiny thing that turns him from a wrestling star into an actual fucking star, like a star, like. Like if you showed like a picture of Stone Cold's face to any just 100 random folk, they're probably going to know who it is. If you did it with John Moxley, wrestling fans are going to know who he is. That's kind of where I was getting. But no, I agree with what you're saying, Mick. I do agree with what you're saying. Is that the way they wrestle, the way they do their shit and get out, it's all kind of very macho and sort of no messing.
Yeah.
Ferrin shoot wide, by the way, he's an evolution of Austin. Like Austin had some issues with drinking in his past and didn't deal with them very well, unfortunately, and that caused him a lot of stress in his life. Moxley had issues with his drinking, sought help, talked about it, going out there, dealt with it. Like it's a good example for kind of men, like men, you know what I mean? That it's all right to struggle. Like, that's a great legacy to leave. And that's no knocking Austin's legacy, obviously. Like, everybody goes through their troubles and that, and everybody has bad times, but the fact that Moxley, very similar kind of guy and very manly guy, could hold his hands up and say, I need to get help, I'm not doing great. And he gets help and he does great, and fucking hell, since he's been back, he's between him and Jericho and Danielson, strong damn shoulders, man, carrying that company.
Aye.
Oh, lads, anything to add before we head out this week again?
What do you think about Malachi Black's thing on Instagram?
Good point.
Aye.
It made me genuinely happy.
Oh, three of them were. Or four, well,
it was the House of Black. All four
of them were tweeting it.
Julia was in it. Brody was in it.
Aye, all of them were in it.
And there's
Buddy was in it as well.
Oh, I didn't see different versions.
They all tweeted different versions of the wee video.
Oh, so the boss shared it. The full house has shared it. Good man. Thank God.
So wait, so each one of them had a different version
positivity I needed.
Of the same, pretty much.
Yep.
That's cool.
I
did not know.
They'll have shot like a 5-10 minute thing, and then they've took in excerpts, to make different clips. So there's the main clip that Malachi's one was, and then there was like cut down versions that each of the other members then shared.
Right.
That was like kind of more focused on their parts of it.
I know it's genuinely happy to see it, Harvey. It's what
I'm happy.
I hope that means that he's on his way back and he's returning soon.
Aye, that's what I was hoping it was meaning.
Aye, my thinking on it is like I hope that whatever the issues were, be it mental health or not, whatever the issues were, I hope they're fully dealt with, dealt well as much as they can be, depending on what they were.
Aye.
To the point where it's no like comes back, builds a great program with whatever faction for 3 months, and then requests time off again.
Aye,
you know what I mean?
Aye. Hopefully everything's all right, Mick. I share that sentiment. Hopefully all four are up for it and ready to go, because there's a lot of love for them. There's a lot of love for them. So, lads, as much as I would love to stay and chat about any old random stuff, we have other podcasts this week coming up as well. Obviously, we had an MMA Mash. We also have, Harvey, what we got this week as well?
Moto Mash.
Moto Mash. Mexican Grand Prix. God damn it, hell yeah. Homacheko and all that kind of carry on. Should be a cracker. Mick, obviously MMA Mash coming as well. Ladies and gents, if you like your MMA kind of stuff, by Christ, are we going to talk about it as well? But for now, if you could just leave us, the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast team,
5 stars, baby! Boom!
Thank you very much. We would honestly be forever in your debt, and we would love you guys. For a tiny wee indie podcast, we love doing this just for the fun of it. If you guys are loving it, you rate us high. If you're no, that's okay, man. But for now, I'm going to get myself the hell out of here along with the boys. Okay. See you later. Have a good week. Bye-bye, driver. See you later, guys.
The new driver.
Bye-bye. Ciao.